is NTV. This is NTV.
Why a policeman gets corrupt? Why a teacher gets corrupt? Because that's why it pains ordinary people.
Fair enough.
Because you
These people, they died. We want to know who killed them.
Crying out for help 12 years on since the Kanungu Inferno. Drama breaks out at the grounds of Parliament as police arrest two relatives of victims of the Kanungu cult inferno as they launch a sit-down strike demanding that their calls for compensation be heard.
Now, over 1,000 people perished in the Kanungu inferno as the relatives of the deceased continue to demand answers from the government as to what exactly happened on March 17th, 2000.
It's Monday night, the 3rd of September 2012. A very warm welcome to NTV Tonight. We are broadcasting live from the Kampala Serena Hotel.
Let's begin by taking a look at what you can expect to come your way tonight.
Deliver a letter already written to the Speaker of Parliament summoning Honorable Nsereko Muhammad.
Also tonight, the police summon Kampala Central MP Muhammad Nsereko as investigations continue into allegations of bank fraud.
A Kenyan woman suspected to be behind a racket of child trafficking across the Uganda-Kenya border is arrested by police in Busia.
Money has also been taken.
And over 60 million shillings in valuable research is stolen following an early morning raid at the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative. Once again, we are delighted you could join us for NTV Tonight. I am Rachel Arinitwe.
And I'm Gabriel Apeno. Thank you for joining us. Tonight, some relatives of the over 1,000 people who perished in the Kanungu cult inferno in 2000 have camped outside at Parliament today demanding for compensation amounting to over 540 billion shillings.
However, police have this evening swung into action and 2 arrests have been made.
The campaigners have now headed to the Central Police Station here in Kampala as they attempt to negotiate for their release.
The relatives earlier in the day vowed never to leave the Parliament Chogam Gardens until they meet President Museveni, even after the Deputy Speaker Jacob Oulanyah met them during a closed-door meeting.
Here's Jingo Francis with our top story tonight.
Back in 2000, over 1,000 believers of a religious cult, the Movement for the Restoration of 10 Commandments of God, perished in an inferno. But to date, the cause has never been established by police. They were under the leadership of Joseph Chibwetere, Sister Credonia Mwerinde, Father Dominic Kataribabo, and Henry Byarugaba. NTV has obtained a copy indicating that this organization was fully registered by government and the NGO board in 1998. But ever since this inferno occurred, the relatives have been demanding for a report. Year in, year out, Parliament has been receiving petitions, but in vain.
2000, 2005, 2010, up to now, that Commission of Inquiry has never produced any report so that we would know where, how our people perished.
Mr. President, arihe ngo tumone tumutira ikibazo cyacu cyo kutubwira ngo mwicare turaharara n'abandi bazi badusange hano tubategereje.
Today, approximately 30 people camped at Parliament's Chogam Gardens demanding to meet President Yoweri Museveni over the matter.
Twagala Museveni yenyine rero okujja wano tugenda wa Museveni kubanga warabona tubayisemu baganyo tuyamba.
These people, they died. We want to know who killed them. Chibwetere, we understand is alive. His families are here. People are busy importing vehicles, selling, and we are here suffering.
Chibwetere tumanyi nti ali Isiraeli kubanga abazungu abajangawo ku church Isiraeli oba eyo mu nsi z'abazungu eyo. Lwaki mu family ya Chibwetere Kennesi ali wali wandege ya atunda motoka mutabani wa Chibwetere mukazi wa Chibwetere ali kawempe wa mbogo wa Sura.
They are also demanding for a compensation amounting to over 540 billion shillings. They have accused their area members of Parliament, Dr. Chris Bariomonsi and Prime Minister Mama Mbabazi, of paying a deaf ear to their suffering.
Naye lwaki okulaba nti nga Mama Mbabazi Prime Minister davanga yo kugamba ati kale abantu banga bafiirwa kamba gambe kino.
Bariomonsi obayache bamuwa ayo ajja tugambe wano.
After meeting the Deputy Speaker Jacob Oulanyah in a closed-door meeting, they left his office unsatisfied after hearing his response on the matter.
Katona twanga kanga biki. Mabati atisa tisa ngutumuda utinga ngati tumuda utinga biki.
The Deputy Speaker declined to comment soon after the meeting and was whisked away by his security in a Mercedes-Benz. But later in the evening, drama ensued as police at the Parliament swung into action, arresting 2 and ordering the rest to quickly vacate the gardens. The 2 have been detained at the Central Police Station in Kampala as their fellow campaigners headed to the station to negotiate for their release. Jingo Francis, NTV, Parliament.
The police have written to the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, summoning the Kampala Central Member of Parliament, Mohammed Nsereko, for interrogation in relation to a bank fraud case against him. Nsereko has been linked to money laundering, in which police detectives questioned several senior managers at the headquarters of the Crane Bank Limited here in Kampala. Maurice Ochol brings us all the details tonight.
Outspoken lawmaker for Kampala Central, Mohammed Nsereko is understood to have been detained in Crane Bank for several hours last week. He is suspected to have participated in money laundering, although so far he has made no official response. Today, the police have written to the Speaker of Parliament summoning the MP, Nsereko, in relation to a bank fraud case against him. Nsereko and a few others have been linked to money laundering, in which police detectives questioned several senior managers of Crane Bank in Kampala. Ibn Senkombi, police spokesperson for Kampala Metropolitan, argues that the investigations are ongoing and revealed that the initial information shows that the fraud was committed in Kenya and Germany.
This fraud were committed outside Uganda, and therefore we have extended our investigations. We are to deliver a letter already written to the Speaker of Parliament summoning Honorable Nsereko Muhammad to appear for interrogation on Thursday.
One of the employees in Western Union Crane Bank, who is said to be close to Nsereko, is amongst the staff that recorded statements last week at Central Police Station. Questioning comes in connection with close to 300 million shillings that was transferred from bank and paid out through Western Union to Nsereko. Maurice Achol, NTV.
Next tonight, the Uganda police has this evening confirmed the death of a Ugandan national in Malaysia while in custody of the country's police. Susan Nakaiza had been arrested for unlawful entering and staying in Malaysia. Now, authorities there say she died from natural causes. Police Public Relations Officer Judith Nabakova says they are working together with Uganda's consulate in Kuala Lumpur to arrange for the return of Nakaiza's body.
This lady had traveled to Malaysia, Susan Nakaiza. She traveled there, but she died on the 23rd of August 2012, and she had been arrested in contravention with Section 15, subsection 1C of the Immigration Act 1959/63, and was due for deportation. The Uganda consular informed the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, inquiring on how the body should be brought. Also, they were asking about who was responsible for her travel to that area, but we haven't yet received that information. So we are just informing members of the public that if anybody knows somebody by the name of Nakaiza Susan, they should get in touch with Interpol to work hand in hand with the relevant authorities to enable them make arrangements to bring the body back home. As police, we requested that an inquest should be carried out into the circumstances of the death.
Over 60 million shillings is believed to have been lost following a break-in this morning at the Foundation for Human Rights Initiative head offices. According to officials at the organization, a large quantity of office material were also stolen, as well as important information which was on laptops. As police continue their investigations to trace the perpetrators of this crime, they say matters will be dealt with. This matter will be dealt with as one of urgency. Here's Julius Senkandwa.
This is the safe where they said 24 million shillings that was robbed early today in the robbery was being kept by Foundation for Human Rights Initiative. The robber left other desk lockers vandalized, as well as important documents scattered over the floor.
Money has also been taken. Overall, we reported to a very ghastly sight.
The thugs are suspected to have first dragged the security guard before breaking into the offices.
The security guards whom we employ from security group was found in a drugged state with his gun lying next to him.
This is the second time since 2006 that the same organization is being attacked, leading to loss of important information.
A lot of equipment has been stolen, computers, laptops, mobile phones that had been procured for our field staff.
According to officials here, the robbery will have a direct impact on the organization's work, especially in relationship on reports regarding human rights abuse in the country.
We receive cases of unfair dismissal. We receive cases here of people who have been arbitrarily terminated. We have to reconstruct some of the work we have done before. Of course, it also demotivates our staff, so the speed at which we do our work might be affected.
By this evening, the perpetrators were yet to be identified, but the organization cannot rule out internal foul playing. For police, it has kicked off investigations into the matter.
We have some other clues that we are following, and we believe that this matter will come to its logical conclusion once all the people who were involved in the robbery have been arrested.
Julius Senkandwa, NTV.
A Kenyan woman suspected to be behind a racket of child trafficking across the Uganda-Kenya border has been arrested by police in Busia as she attempted to sell a young boy for 70 million shillings. She was also demanding for a car in addition to the money. Police arrested Emily Nafula at Haven Pub in Mawero, Busia town as she attempted to sell the 10-year-old Fabian Wanjala, a primary 4 pupil of Mashewe Primary School in Kimwanga, Bugoma, Western Kenya. Florence Naliimba reports.
In the 2011 annual Crime and Road Safety Report, human trafficking definitely did not make it on the list of the 9 top crimes in the country. But nonetheless, it is a worrying crime which is on a gradual rise. Surviving to be a number in the reported cases of trafficking in Kenya this year is 10-year-old Fabian Wanjala, a primary 4 pupil of Mashewe Primary School in Kimwanga, Bugoma from Western Kenya, who was lured from his church.
By names of Nafula Emily, a Kenyan by nationality, who had trafficked actually a child from the same country, and here in Uganda she was selling the same boy 70 million Uganda money on top of any car, Uganda registered number plate.
Saving Fabian from this woman who practices slavery in this modern age, according to the Busia police, was no easy feat. They had to go undercover as buyers.
Automatically we are getting information through the use of intelligence from other sister agencies like ISO and CMI, crime intelligence, vigilantes, and the weeding wananchi, as well as crime preventers.
Human trafficking mostly occurs because of forced labor. Other reasons include sexual exploitation or combined sexual and forced labor, begging, and low-level criminal activities. Some reasons are never known according to the International Organization for Migration, IOM.
The woman has confessed everything. She's in fact apologetic, and that's why we are taking her to court for extrajudicial statement.
If found guilty, Emily Nafula may be handed a sentence ranging from 15 years to life imprisonment in jail, according to the 2009 Prevention of Trafficking in Persons Act in Uganda, which does not prohibit any form of trafficking. In a report by the International Organization for Migration, a legislation signed into law by Kenya's President Mwai Kibaki in 2010 to crack down on human traffickers gives a 30-year jail term or a hefty fine of 30 million Kenyan shillings, an equivalent of 810 million Uganda shillings, about $325,000 for convicts. According to the annual Crime and Road Safety Report in 2011, a total of 64 Ugandan nationals were trafficked from Uganda to the following countries: 51 to Malaysia, 16 to China, 2 to Rwanda, and 1 child each was trafficked to Egypt, Tanzania, Thailand, South Sudan, and Botswana. 69 children were trafficked in total. It appears growing instances of this crime are on the increase at the Busia border.
It had been there, but of late it had stopped, because we have been condemning it in the strongest voice possible ever sounded in history.
Uganda's law on human trafficking is however yet to be tightened.
As we see in this report, human trafficking is undeniably on the increase for different reasons, ranging from ritual purposes to slavery. And would like to hear from you on this issue. We are asking what can be done to combat the growing practice of human trafficking. What can be done to combat the growing practice of human trafficking?
Please share your thoughts. You can text your comment to 8778 and let us know where you're texting from and your name as well. We'll be reading a few of your responses during and at the very end of tonight's newscast.
I will take a short break and return with more news. And here's what you can expect on NTV tonight. Fighting fraud. Police display some of the tools used by 4 Bulgarian nationals to infiltrate ATMs across the city.
An And in sport, the Uganda Cranes continue training in camp ahead of the 2013 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Zambia next weekend.
NTV Tonight continues after this short break. Do stay with us.
This is NTV.
Ideally, we all have the right to express our opinions and views truthfully and openly.
Atelelom tugenda katongole mbukasam.
Kampala bwerere mwansomu the bus. The discussion is still going on in the bus.
Tulino kugumira challenges ezimu bwe tuba tulino goba abatembeyi mwami lukwaga agumaga abatembeyi mugende never no mbadengala kunyonyola mukulu kati tuulizere mwami natudde ku kira mbadengala kunyonyola mwami yagambye nti meya lukwago ye meya omutuufu
government ekutte lukwago emunyigira mu nsonga takyekyusa.
Welcome back to minibus kyogereko.
Singa omusajja abankwana nga njagala sifa ku kya ssente wabula nfa ku mbeera yeyisa
alimba ono
This is minibus kyogereko.
Kwene embeera y'abasajja bano
essuubi nga lyakuggwamu
bano abasajja abanaatera n'okujja kusigiriza ffe ekiro basituleko emiwumbo gy'emmere bagitwale.
Sogera byange kibanda bana bagamba nga nebagamba ne bwagala nkubulira ebyange ja tugende emyanzi
mpulira abanyumya babeera bakujerega waliko omusawo w'ekinansi e South Africa baba bakujerega obituufu
baba banjerega oyo mufere mubbi yennyini yeetaaga miggo.
Omuntu wa bulijjo tomuzannyirangako abeeranga dormant volcano.
Bwemba mukkiriza nina takuwa mugiyita
ate takuwa gobeera mugoberezi tolowooza nti buli mulimo oyogerera omusiraamu singa naakubuuza nti Katonda yagamba atya.
Bw'oba oli pasita ng'okyawa olimba obba oyenda olina abakazi basatu, please heaven is waiting for you. One day you'll pay and soon your time is out.
Otiisa mmoni
sitiisa nkubuulira Yesu talimba
ebintu mbimala mulundi gumu kati what I love peace.
Gwokola byo wegase n'omusajja mutwale mabi.
This is NTV. This is NTV.
It's party time every day at 4:30 p.m. Feel the music. Try out your favorite dance strokes. Watch the latest music videos from artists around the world as you dance to the beat.
Girl, you got me screaming fiesta. Body language saying whatever.
Welcome back. We start with a reminder of our NTV poll question for tonight and some of your responses. We asked what can be done to combat the growing practice of human trafficking. What can be done to combat the growing practice of human trafficking in Uganda.
Share your thoughts. You can text those to 8778. Remember to leave your name and where you're texting from. Let's look at some of your responses even now.
Okay, Kahubire Kate Freeman, you say those considering jobs abroad should investigate and do background checks on the companies and individuals offering such opportunities. They should not let excitement and tales of earning so much money impair their judgment and intuition.
And Evangelist John Paul Lule saying the real problem starts with the immigration department that dishes out travel documents without thoroughly scrutinizing those applying for them due to the fact that they get bribes. Without cleaning this department, getting rid of this vice will remain a myth.
Okay, remember, we'd like to hear more of your views on this issue. Please keep them coming. The number is 8778. We'll read some more before we wind up NTV Tonight this evening.
And now in an update on one of our stories tonight, the police have written to the Speaker of Parliament, Rebecca Kadaga, summoning the Kampala Central Member of Parliament, Mohamed Nsereko, for interrogation in relation to a bank fraud case against him.
Nsereko has been linked to money laundering, in which police detectives questioned several senior managers of Crane Bank here in Kampala. Now, we managed to reach Nsereko, and he had this to say in response to this case on fraud.
No, I don't think I've gotten any communication of that nature. I've also overheard it through the news and through the electronic media. I overheard about it. But when I called some of the people within the police force, they told me that no letter had been received, let alone had been dispatched to the Speaker of Parliament, and even the Speaker of Parliament cannot confirm receipt of that letter. So tomorrow I'll go to police, CPS, and find out, because CPS is within my constituency. I'll go to police, to CPS, and find out what they want, because I'm not aware. I don't even need. I'm not aware of those summons. But in any case, I'll go there because I know there is nothing. There is nothing. These are things that are being trumped up. I'll go there myself. They don't need to waste their time. I'll go there myself tomorrow.
That is Kampala Central Member of Parliament, Mohamed Nsereko, responding to a police case pinning him to money laundering. Moving on, high-ranking officials from the Intergovernmental Authority on Development, IGAD, are in Kampala to launch a new regional strategy aimed at detecting conflicts early before they escalate into violence. But as the preparations for tomorrow's summit get into high gear, one of the members of Uganda's parliament, that is Remigio Achia, has expressed reservations with regard to the organizers achieving their intended goals due to what he cites as a lack of a clear implementation framework. Chris Ochamringa reports.
Tomorrow's high-profile summit will bring together member states from the Intergovernmental Authority on Development to launch a new strategy of detecting and preventing conflicts before they escalate into violence. The meeting will be held to expand the operations of IGAD's conflict early warning and response mechanism. It will also discuss security issues in the Karamoja region that has experienced years of conflict due to cross-border cattle raids.
The very important area of conflict early warning and response mechanisms, that of pastoralism and pastoralist conflict issues.
But the MP for Pian County in Karamoja, Remigio Achia, has reservations about the outcomes of this upcoming summit.
The biggest problem in all this discussion is the question of implementation. How are they going to implement this? We have had experience of UPDF and the government of Kenya, government of Uganda and Kenya, sharing liaison officers. We would always exchange information, but that stopped at that. In terms of practical actions, practical operational mechanisms, how is that going to happen?
This summit will be presided over by Uganda's First Lady, Janet Museveni, and attended by 8 IGAD member states, which include Eritrea, Ethiopia, Somalia, South Sudan, Sudan, Djibouti, Kenya, and Uganda. Chris Ochamringa, NTV.
Now, police have displayed the gadgets that were allegedly used by 4 Bulgarian nationals involved in ATM scheming in Kampala. Some of the gadgets are believed to have been used to dismantle and disorganize the working system of ATM machines. The move to display these gadgets follows the declaration that Interpol is now involved in the investigation of this case, as the suspects are believed to have been operating as part of a wider criminal racket involved in such criminal activity across the world. Sohail Mugabi has the details.
Some of the gadgets that were displayed to the press today include a sophisticated device that is used to fabricate and also make replicas of original ATM cards issued by banks. Police have also revealed that this machine has the capacity to download and display encrypted data from a personal ATM card. Another gadget also displayed is believed to be able to make ATM machines malfunction and also disorganize the operations of these machines.
Actually, those activities are comprehensive, that on top of scheming the ATMs, they also involve themselves in actually manufacturing fabricating the ATM cards just within their rooms.
Following a thorough search at the Ugandan home of these 4 Bulgarian nationals, police has also recovered several data cables used to connect ATM machines to their gadgets, sophisticated pliers used to dissect these cables, and a hacksaw that is used to cut the metallic parts on the ATM machine. One of the arrested Bulgarian nationals was also found to be in possession of a Kenyan driver's license. Police also indicated that investigations are still ongoing, as interrogations have today officially begun with Interpol involved.
Our Interpol department is involved, and we shall require people to translate their language and charge them accordingly.
These 4 Bulgarian nationals were arrested last Thursday as they were attempting to infiltrate an ATM machine in Natete, a Kampala suburb. Sohail Mugabi, NTV Tonight.
Our UPDF spokesperson, Colonel Felix Kuleije, has admitted that the slow response from other African states to deploy in Somalia under the African mission in Somalia has negatively affected the fight against the Al-Shabaab. Kuleije, who was speaking at the U.S. African Command Symposium for journalists and public affairs officers, said that the limited troops in Somalia has made the Ugandan Defense Forces to over-deploy in the country, an issue which has raised questions on whether Uganda has any interests in the Horn of Africa country. Solomon Siranja reports from Germany.
On 9th March 2007, 8,000 Ugandan soldiers were deployed in Mogadishu, Somalia, under the African Mission in Somalia to battle the Al-Shabaab forces that had gained ground in the Horn of Africa. Later that year in November, Burundi joined the war front with 3,000 soldiers, and it was until 2012 that Djibouti and Kenya joined with 3,000 and 4,000 soldiers respectively. The call for other African countries to contribute more troops to fight the Al-Shabaab has on several occasions fallen on deaf ears. While responding to journalists and other African military public affairs officers on the progress in Somalia, the UPDF spokesperson Colonel Felix Kuleije admitted that the slow response from other African countries to deploy more troops in AMISOM has had a big impact on the mission.
Has it had an effect? Of course, yes. One, we have had to over-deploy our troops in the mission area to cover the gap of the others. We are losing our soldiers. It's their families that are losing. You mean we are supposed to sacrifice for others? I think Jesus Christ did follow us, but eventually everybody follows now.
Kuleije also adds that Uganda's contribution to the AMISOM, with a large contingent of soldiers adding up to 6,360 soldiers currently, coupled with the slow response from other African states, has also raised questions on whether it is a Museveni agenda.
It looks as if it's a Museveni agenda and not an African agenda. 3, therefore, at home, it becomes a question to the government. Why only Uganda and Burundi? Why not the others? What are you pursuing there that we don't know? So the question of legitimacy comes in.
So if it is an African agenda, where African forces are supposed to solve African conflicts, why are some countries hesitant to deploy in the region that has suffered from war for decades?
South Africa said we are committed in DRC, we are committed in Sudan, we are in Burundi, we are overstretched. Rwanda said we are deployed in Darfur, we have a problem in Eastern DRC, we can't come.
Kano Kulaije is now calling for countries that had promised to deploy troops towards the AMISOM to act in order to boost the fight against the Al-Shabaab forces.
So we think if others would come in as in AMISOM, then AMISOM would become the template in stabilizing other regions, DRC, Mali, name them. Because conflicts are not about to end anyway.
Solomon Serwanja, NTV.
Let's now take a look at more stories making the news across the country tonight.
Shanita Namuimbwa, popularly known as Bad Black, has been produced in court today on 4 counts of traffic-related offences. Prosecution alleges that Ismail Busamba, a border cyclist, was knocked down on the 4th of December last year together with his wife and child as they rode on a motorcycle along Acacia Avenue in Kamwocha, a Kampala suburb. Although currently serving a 4-year sentence in prison, Bad Black was brought to City Hall Magistrates Court this morning to answer charges of bad driving, where she is accused of knocking down the 3. The plaintiff accused Bad Black of injuring his wife and their child. He is demanding that Namuyimbwa pays up all the costs of treatment and other damages caused.
Bw'abakkiriza okujjanjaba mukazi wange n'okwonoona n'okuzaawo ebyo ebyakolaki ebyayonooneka n'okuzaawo bodaboda yange n'okuliyira mukazi we kuba kati mwaka mulamba takola ebintu byonna byayonooneka takyalina kimu kitambula.
However, the lawyer representing the city socialite has asked court for an adjournment of their client's traffic offence case to allow them time to settle the matter out of court.
Meanwhile, 2 people are being held at Mulago Police Post. Mbubi joiner Stella Anasa at Mulago was arrested yesterday while she was trying to smuggle out 50 pairs of gloves, 21 cannulas and 132 syringes. She admitted the offence and was pleading to be pardoned as she is being charged with theft.
We put her in our custody, we have recorded her statements, and we are going to produce her before courts of law. Of course, we have preferred a charge of having carried these suspected stolen drugs.
Maiso Butambula was impersonating a dentist and was found with dental kits, and he is being charged with impersonation.
Finally, youth in Rubaga Division have vowed to drag both KCCA and government to court for failing to pay their job stimulus packages, which was promised in the last budget reading. Over 160 youth groups in Rubaga Division were to receive this package after the President's directive, and in the financial year of 2011-2012, government passed 16.5 billion shillings for this project and increased 3.5 billion shillings in the current financial year. Today, the youth groups in the division gave KCCA and government an ultimatum of 14 days to pay back their money they invested when they were applying for this project, and failure to meet this will lead to a court case.
What we want now is to get a refund of the expenses we incurred in the process of acquiring this one, because we spent a lot of money in this process, of which some of the money was borrowed from other people, and we have to pay it back.
We'll take yet another break, but coming up later is Malcolm Wisime with NTV Business. Stay with us.
This is NTV.
No one feels the motherland like we do. So tune in every day at 6 p.m. and Fridays from 11 p.m. for the best in homegrown music. Only on NTV, the station that celebrates local music talent. It's party time every day at 4:30 p.m. Feel the music. Try out your favorite dance strokes. Watch the latest music videos from artists around the world as you dance to the beat.
Girl, you got me screaming fiesta. Body language saying whatever.
Only on The Beat, Monday to Friday on NTV, your official groove station.
This is NTV.
I'm knocking. A message yali ku the last piece of a jambia yali muhadi wa yonna. No, bloody way, holy moly.
We've just met. How can I be your friend? Mr. Rashmond. Okuzimba nyumba nga kintu kizibu nnyo banange mugumire mu bupangisa. Come.
I'm called Olar Oton. There's no English name. Just like resistors, Yakazol.
I blame you. You have option of getting international husband. Why do you get it?
Newtown. A message yali ku the
Your
last.
Saturday afternoons just got better on NTV with Exposed. Join Cats and the Platinum DJs as they bring you some mad DJ skills and crazy video mixes.
TV Business with Umeme.
Monday's NTV Business, thank you for joining us. My name is Malcolm Sime, and first from the business desk, the refurbishment of the 9.3 billion shillings ferry MV Kawa is part of the wider plan by government to revitalize the southern route to the sea via Mwanza and Dar es Salaam. Uganda has greatly suffered whenever Kenya has had problems with disruption to trade, and according to the Works Minister Abraham Biandala, the southern route is part of a grand plan to buffer the economy against such disruptions. NTV's Samuel Setumba was there.
This is not a new ferry. It is the now refurbished MV Kawa that has been grounded for 7 years after an accident with another ferry, Kabalega. Its refurbishment was inevitable, considering the dire need of revitalizing the southern trade route to Dar es Salaam, considering the risk that the single route through Kenya to Mombasa has. The ferry, belonging to Uganda Railways Corporation, will be operated by RVR under concession.
RVR is obliged to start offering railway freight services on the southern route through Lake Victoria. And from tomorrow, we shall be indeed sailing on the southern route with our first cargo.
The refurbishment cost the taxpayer 9 billion shillings and will be followed by fixing another railway wagon ferry, MV Pamba. This is part of government's grand plan, which includes developing capacity for the Jinja Port and Port Bell for envisaged trade capacity.
Government's ultimate solution is to develop a much larger greenfield multi-purpose port at Bukasa.
The big plan is the development of the southern route with transport and ports between Uganda and Tanzania through Mwanza or Musoma to Tanga at the coast. Samuel Setumba, NTV Business.
Thank you, Sam. In the financial markets, the shilling has sustained a fairly weak stance against the dollar, partly driven by the weak appetite of offshore investors from Ugandan assets. It has traded today at 2,506 and 2,515, buying and selling respectively. We have more in this report.
Financial Report
is brought to you by
URA, developing Uganda together.
vehicles are required to revalidate their registration using our new online module and get a new logbook. All newly imported vehicles will also be registered online using this new online module. Get out of the line and get online.
Finally, on NTV Business Night, China has defended its increased interest in Africa, urging that it's a symbiotic trade relationship that protects both Africa's and the Chinese interests. According to the Chinese Ministry of Commerce officials, while Africa provides an enormous resource base to support its industrialization, the continent has also drawn a lot of benefits from the growing volume of trade and development support from China.
Having attained steady economic growth over the last decades and an industrialization index of 10% today, China is vowing that its ties with Africa will remain strong for mutual benefit.
The establishment of economic cooperation zones. We have made a huge progress in this regard. And the measures for the economic cooperation between China and Africa are as follows this year.
The leading Asian economic powerhouse now says with a stable market and a vast array of mineral deposits, Africa and Uganda inclusive must reap from its 3-year 20 billion infrastructure aid.
The first one is to increase the scale of financing. The second is to increase our development assistance. The third is our support to the integration of African countries.
And as China consolidates its position as Africa's new key trading partner, estimated at a staggering $115 billion year-on-year end, the Asian tiger has also announced a raft of technical aid to shore up economies in the continent.
Including 23 engineering projects, 10 technological cooperation projects, and 31 dispatches of commodities to your country.
This year alone, Chinese firms particularly around construction of roadworks have secured approximately $200 million worth of business contracts from Uganda, with the latter being challenged to strike more deals with the Chinese private sector as well.
This shows that the scale of investment and cooperation between China and African countries is far behind the strong wishes and the strong wishes to increase the level of government-to-government and enterprise-to-enterprise cooperation and investment.
According to these officials at the Ministry of Commerce in China, sorting out the trade imbalance with Africa is to be tackled through an ongoing zero-tariff treatment of 4,700 taxable items, as mentioned in the People's Republic of China on import and export duties. However, the Minister of Commerce down here in Beijing, China, are saying it's one of the ways of promoting entrepreneurship among its people. I'm Reina Oji, NTV Business in Beijing, China.
Thank you, Reina. Welcome back from China. That's all we had for you from the business desk. But if you love sports, stay with us because Joel Kamadi will be bringing you all the very latest after this break.
This is NTV.
Fieldwork has been defined by different scholars. Some think it is an art.
These are the blood types that are in human beings. We have A.
When a chemical reaction takes place, it involves two things.
We are given a straight line that has been denoted by 2x minus y is equal to 6.
Good evening and a very warm welcome to Monday's NTV Sport. I am Joel Kamadi. Now, with just days to go to the crucial tie against the Chipolopolo of Zambia, Cranes captain Andy Mwesigwa, who jetted into the country last week, says he has been getting treatment for an injury he got in their last game, but is confident about his fitness as they travel to Zambia for the weekend match. Now, foreign-based players who are not yet in camp are expected to jet into the country later today or tomorrow.
I got a knock in our last game we played in the league, but I've been getting good treatment, and that is why when I came I had to train alone individually, though on the other side I was tired, I just arrived in the morning, so that was also another reason as to why I trained alone. But seriously, I had an injury, but now I'm feeling better. I'm okay.
Coach Bobby Williamson is confident with the preparation so far, with the last batch of foreign-based players expected to jet in by tomorrow.
They had a tiresome journey, to be fair, but they're here. And the training this morning will hold them in good stead. And we'll train this afternoon again for another hour, and then we'll rest after that. But we're expecting a couple more players to come in, either this evening or tomorrow. And by Wednesday, we should have a full squad.
Andy Mwesigwa is also confident ahead of the tie against the African champions, citing a positive mood in the camp.
Yeah, that is very good to know that we are going to play the champions, but it doesn't guarantee them that they will be in the Nations Cup next year. So they have to fight for it, and that is against Uganda. So we are also going to, of course, even Uganda needs to qualify. So it is going to be a 50-50 game. They need, we also want it. So we have to fight for that post, and that is what we are going to do, despite the fact that they are champions.
Now, Uganda's Coca-Cola Under-17 team and mixed results today as the 2012 Africa tournament kicked off at St. Alba's College in Pretoria. Uganda lost the first game against Malawi before beating a united team by 1-0 and wound up the day with a goalless draw against Zambia. Sam Poza reports from South Africa.
Late changes in the Coca-Cola fixtures here in Pretoria saw Uganda's Under-17 team kick off the tournament against Malawi. Uganda took the lead through Brian Mayanja after goalkeeper Isaac Ochuchu fired the penalty shot into the hands of Malawi's goalkeeper. Malawi, who are preparing for the CAF Under-17 Championship, came from a goal down and won the game by 2-1. In the second game for Uganda, team captain Daniel Ojala converted a penalty as Uganda beat the combined team of Rwanda, Burundi, Lesotho and Mauritius by 1-0. Uganda ended day one of the tournament with a goalless draw against Zambia. Sam Poza, NTV Sport in Pretoria, South Africa.
Now, a record 40 nations competed in the 28th World Mountain Running Championships 2012 at Ponte Legno in Italy, with 11 nations earning medals in the 4 events. The junior men's 8.8-kilometer race saw a strong performance from Uganda's Michael Cherop, who was chased all the way by European champion Adem Karagoz of Turkey. Bronze medal went to Somes Dag, also of Turkey, just 10 seconds ahead of Moses Kurong of Uganda, who came in 4th. A popular Neka Ganet Kripa of Italy was 5th. The team race was won by Uganda with 13 points, with second place going to Turkey with 20 and Italy taking the final podium place. Now, finally tonight in NTV Sport, and Paralympian Oscar Pistorius apologized for the timing of his comments over the length of the 200-meter gold medal winner Alan Oliveira's artificial legs. And in motorsport, Romain Grosjean has been given a one-race ban for causing the first corner crash at the Belgian Grand Prix. All the details coming up in our international sports wrap. Oscar Pistorius has apologized for the timing of his comments about the running blades used by T44 200-meter gold medalist Alan Fonteles Oliveira immediately after Sunday night's race. The South African hit out at the International Paralympic Committee for failing to act over the length of some athletes' blades after Oliveira, wearing noticeably longer ones, came from way back to pip him at the line. In motorsport, Romain Grosjean has been handed a one-race ban for his part in the first corner pile-up during Sunday's Belgian Grand Prix. His team Lotus confirmed the punishment had been handed down by race stewards after he appeared to be at the center of the crash at La Source. McLaren driver Lewis Hamilton was clipped by Grosjean as he attempted to cut across the Briton. As the rear right tire of Grosjean's car hit the front left of Hamilton's, it sparked a chain reaction which resulted in the exit of 4 cars. As the mayhem unfolded, Grosjean and Hamilton collected Fernando Alonso and Sergio Perez, the latter duo having started from 5th and 4th. And that winds up NTV Sport for tonight. Thanks for watching.
Thank you, Joel. And now to a look at Tuesdays with a forecast. Now let's go back to tonight's NTV poll, and we asked what can be done to combat the growing practice of human trafficking. Thank you so much for all of your responses. We'll get into some more of them starting now.
Okay, George from Koboko saying we need tougher laws concerning child trafficking in Uganda.
And Medi Chimbugwe, you say poverty. That's how I can best describe it. As long as people are still broke, they are going to remain vulnerable to all forms of exploitation, including human trafficking.
And Emmanuel Biarhanga from Entebbe saying definitely capital punishment should be imposed on those found guilty.
Okay, and finally, Zirin Tusa, Michael, you have a 3-pronged approach to this problem. You say awareness campaigns should be conducted countrywide, stricter laws should be put in place to punish the perpetrators of the crime, and agencies taking people to work abroad should be scrutinized adequately.
Okay, we do appreciate you taking part in tonight's NTV poll. It returns tomorrow with yet another question. Be sure to have your say.
Well, I'll be back later for a roundup of the day's news in NTV Late Night. Stay tuned for that.
For now, I am Rachel Arinitwe. Have a good night.
And I'm Gabriel Apeno. Thanks for watching.
This is NTV.